The people, the next witness, please.
The people called Georgia Longstreet.
Remain standing. Face the clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
In a loud, clear voice, state your full name and the spelling of your last name.
Georgia Longstreet, Longstreet.
Your county of residence.
Kings County.
Good morning.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Good morning, Ms. Longstreet.
Good morning.
Can you tell everyone where you work?
I work for the New York County District Attorney's Office.
What is your position at the New York County District Attorney's Office?
I am a paralegal.
And what are some of your duties and responsibilities as a paralegal at the New York County District Attorney's Office?
As a paralegal, our main responsibilities are to assist the attorneys in whatever cases or investigations we are working on, whether that be administrative tasks or analytical tasks.
Do some of those duties and responsibilities include locating publicly available records relevant to the case?
Yep.
In your capacity as a paralegal for the Manhattan DA's office, were you ever assigned to work on a matter involving Donald Trump?
Yes.
How long have you worked on that matter?
About 1.5 years.
As part of your role in the matter involving Donald Trump, were you ever responsible for identifying publicly available materials relevant to the case?
Yes.
Did that include responsibility for reviewing and saving publicly available social media posts that could be relevant to the case?
Yes.
Did that also include responsibility for reviewing and saving publicly available news articles that could be relevant to the case?
Yes.
So looking now specifically at social media posts, what social media platforms have you reviewed for public information related to the case?
That would be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Truth Social.
And approximately, how many social media accounts have you analyzed in connection with the case?
Probably between 25 and 30.
Do you analyze some of those with more regularity than others?
Yes, absolutely.
How frequently do you review public data to locate relevant social media posts?
Every day. Usually multiple times a day.
That's for the 1.5 years that you have been on the case?
It is.
In total, how many social media posts have you reviewed in connection with this case?
Say anywhere between 5 and 10,000.
In total, how many social media posts have you saved in connection with the case?
Around 1,500, give or take.
Do you save social media posts in a particular way?
I do.
Can you describe that for the jury, please?
Sure. So I use a tool that we have called Snagit, which is basically just a way to screenshot something on the computer, take a screenshot of whatever the post is, and then I save that file to a folder, usually with the date and a few words about what the post is about, and then I hash it.
Can you explain what hashing is for the jury?
Sure. Hashing is a process used to preserve the integrity of a file by creating what is called a hash value, which is essentially a digital footprint.
What is a hash value?
So, a hash value is a unique string of characters that captures both the date and time that the file was saved, as well as the location on the computer where the file is saved.
You did that for all the social media posts you saved?
I did.
Are you familiar with a social media platform called Twitter?
I am.
Do you know whether that company changed its name at some point?
It did.
What did it change its name to?
X.
But is it still functionally the same platform?
Yes.
What was the platform called in 2016?
Twitter.
Can you briefly describe how Twitter works?
Yes. So users can put out a post or a tweet, and that can consist of words, photos, videos, a link. And then you post that tweet for your followers to view.
And are you familiar with the phrase Twitter handle?
I am.
What's a Twitter handle?
A Twitter handle is basically someone's username. So like their @sign.
And are posts to Twitter, are they public or private? Can they be either or both?
They can be either. It depends on the user. You can make it so only people that follow you can view your posts, or you can make your account public, so anyone that looks you up that has an account can see your posts.
Are you familiar with the term verified account?
I am.
What's a verified account?
So the new Twitter, I think you can just buy a verification status. Back in 2016, the verification status used to be a way of Twitter signaling that this was, in fact, the account that belonged to someone like a politician, a celebrity, someone of prominent status.
Did you review Twitter's user policies and help manual to determine what a verified account was?
Yes.
In connection with this case, were you asked to review public posts made on Twitter from the Twitter handle, @RealDonaldTrump?
Yes.
Was that a verified account?
Yes.
Who did you understand the user of that account to be?
Donald Trump.
Did you take any steps to verify that that Twitter handle was associated with Mr. Trump?
So the National Archives maintains and preserves a Twitter account that has the handle @POTUS45, which reposted numerous, if not all, of the posts from the @RealDonaldTrump account. That, combined with the verified status, gave me an idea.
Do you have an understanding of what POTUS 45 refers to?
Yes, the 45th President of the United States.
In connection with the case, were you asked to review public posts made on Twitter from the Twitter handle, I am sorry, withdrawn? And you mentioned that you are familiar with Truth Social?
I am.
What is Truth Social?
Truth Social works basically in the same way that Twitter does. It is another social media platform where you can make a post, or I guess a truth, and put that out for your followers to view.
You also reviewed Truth Social's help center and information provided to Truth Social users?
Yes.
Does Truth Social use verified accounts?
They do.
And according to Truth Social, what is a verified account?
A verified account, according to them, means that Truth Social on the back end has done their due diligence to make sure that that account does, in fact, belongs to who it said, and it is not an imposter or somebody else pretending to be that person.
In connection with this case, were you asked to review public posts made on Truth Social from the Truth Social handle @RealDonaldTrump?
Yes.
Was that a verified account?
Yes.
Who did you understand the user of that account to be?
Donald Trump.
Did you take any steps to verify if that Truth Social handle was associated with Mr. Trump?
On Mr. Trump's campaign site, there is a Truth Social icon that links directly back to that Truth Social account.
And are you familiar with the website called the Wayback Machine?
I am.
Can you describe what that is to the jury?
Yes. So, the Wayback Machine is a digital archive. I think it was founded in like 2001 or something. And it basically allows users to, essentially, go back in time and see what a website looked like on any day in the past.
Can you explain to the jury how you find a particular website from a particular point in time?
Yes. So the way that I do it, for example, I take that website's current viewer, the way it shows up if you were to look it up today, and I enter it into the Wayback Machine search engine, and it will allow you to view the different months or days or years in the past that it has preserved that website's content on, and then you can choose which day of the past you would like to view.
In connection with this case, did you ever use the Wayback Machine to retrieve previously posted versions of news articles?
I did.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review files marked for identification as People's Exhibits 407A through 407E?
Yes.
Are those public posts from the Twitter handle @RealDonaldTrump?
Yes.
Who created those exhibits?
I did.
And did you create those exhibits using the hashed versions that you retrieved?
I did.
Before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review files marked for identification as People's Exhibits 408A and 408B?
I did.
Were those public posts in the Truth Social handle @RealDonaldTrump?
Yes.
And who created those exhibits?
I did.
Did you create them based on the hashed versions of the files that you created?
I did.
By the way, before testifying today, did you have an opportunity to review the file marked for identification as People's Exhibit 405A?
Yes.
Is 405A a publicly available Washington Post article that you retrieved using the Wayback Machine?
Yes.
And is the file that is marked for identification as 405A an exact copy of what you retrieved?
Yes.
We now offer into evidence People's Exhibits 405.
407A through E and 408A and 408B.
Objection to 408, and if we can approach on one.
Let's take your morning recess. Jurors, if you can step out, please.
Whereupon the jury was excused.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Witnesses excused.
Okay. I want to make sure we have the same exhibits. I have 405A, 407A through E, 408A, and 408B.
Yes.
Tell me what your objection is and to which.
The objection for 405A is just that given Your Honor's ruling this morning, assuming you overruled our hearsay objection, we would just like the opportunity to speak with our client and amongst ourselves about the stipulation, which we haven't got a chance to do.
Do you want to take a minute to do that now?
Sure.
You want to step out for a few minutes?
Yes.
Short recess is taken.
Mr. Blanche?
Your Honor, we continue to have our hearsay objection. Assuming that's overruled, we have agreed with the people to a stipulation, and we have agreed to it. It's going to, assuming the court allows this, we will just read it to the jury. Then we will type it up and mark it as an exhibit.
That's fine. Now, can we pull up the exhibits that you have a hearsay exception to? I just want to look at them quickly.
Sure.
Let's go one by one. 405A.
Well, I still have the objection. So 405A, which is the Washington Post.
When you say hearsay, you are referring to what specifically?
Well, it's the entire for what the people are offering it for. They are offering it for the date, which is an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth. They are offering it for, I believe, the Washington Post, which is an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth. They are offering it, assuming the content is hearsay, and they are offering it for who authored it, which is an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth. So, I will let the government speak to what else they...
Your Honor, we are offering to withdraw this based on the stipulation.
Say that again.
We are offering to withdraw our request to admit this based on the stipulation.
Okay, let's go to 407.
Beginning with 407A, so here, Your Honor, this would be presumably offered for, again, everything on this document. There is, I think you can see at the bottom, there is the date that it was posted, the time that it was posted. That's an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth of the matter asserted.
And let's look at B.
This is exactly the same thing. Your Honor, just to be clear, I don't know whether they are going to argue it, but there is a lot of information in here, including reposts, quotes, likes, bookmarks, date, time.
And 407A through E, are these all Truth Social posts?
Yes, it is. I am sorry. They are tweets.
They are all Twitter posts.
What are you introducing these for?
We are introducing them for the content of the statements made, as well as who they were made by and the time and date that they were posted. We do not need to admit the markings on the bottom which indicate requotes, posts, likes, and bookmarks.
Okay, very well. And just to back up a little bit, I am satisfied with the foundation that the witness laid as far as reliability. You know, we will take each exhibit one at a time. But overall, I think that the foundation was laid for establishing whose account it was, how she determined that, and what steps she took. Ultimately, the issue of hearsay is it reliable? And for purposes of at least having this discussion and whether I am going to accept each individual exhibit, I am satisfied that it is reliable. What's 408A?
I mean, this is now truth, Your Honor. It is same exact objection. They are going to say to the jury at some point on March 15th, 2023, this truth was sent, and it is a business record. It's being offered for the truth. And there is a specific rule, which is 808, that doesn't allow it to come in this way, with a witness who hasn't said a word about her experience or how the business maintains these records.
Your Honor, again, we are not seeking to admit this as a business record. We are seeking to admit this as a party admission.
How do you get past hearsay of the actual statement?
We believe, as already mentioned, we believe that the witness we are seeking to admit this through has made an adequate foundation and that there is sufficient hallmarks of reliability.
What's the exception to hearsay?
Admission.
Okay, and what's 408B?
This one, Your Honor, we have exactly the same hearsay objection. But actually, we have an absolute relevance objection and an unduly prejudicial objection for the reasons I stated this morning for the information provided to the court.
What's the relevance of that?
So, Your Honor, the relevance of this is the pressure that has been put on witnesses in connection with testifying about the case. This is the same issue that Your Honor addressed on Tuesday, when Your Honor ruled that this is transcript pages 1651 to 1661, that the defendant had opened the door to arguments and evidence about the pressure campaign that the defendant put on witnesses. And Your Honor ruled that we could introduce this type of evidence for two purposes. First, to offset the defense claims that witnesses are benefiting from a willingness to testify. And second, to explain witnesses' initial denials as to certain events in this case.
And it's offered as the exception to hearsay?
Admission.
So, the people are withdrawing 405A, 407A through E are Twitter posts. They are coming in as admissions. 408A is a Truth Social post. It's coming in as an admission. 408B is coming in as an admission. I am satisfied again as to reliability. And going back to my earlier ruling, if you go back to the motions in limine, I had ruled that we would take this up later, that we would have to wait and see what happens. I had not at that time decided that these types of things could come in. However, I subsequently ruled that the door had been opened, and based upon that, I am allowing them to come in. All right, let's get the witness.
Sorry, Your Honor. Just to clarify, we are withdrawing 405A subject to the stipulation, not just generally.
Witness entering, whereupon the witness entered the courtroom and was properly seated. Jury entering, whereupon the jury entered the courtroom and was properly seated.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Case on trial continued. All jurors are present and properly seated.
People.
Before we resume, I have a stipulation of the parties that I would like to read into the record with the court's permission.
Please.
The parties have stipulated that the Access Hollywood tape referred to during this trial was publicly released by the Washington Post on October 7, 2016, at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The article was authored by David Farenthold.
Thank you. Jurors, a stipulation is information that the parties have agreed to without the need to call a witness. It's to be treated exactly the way you would treat any other evidence.
Now, to resume, we offer into evidence what has been marked for identification as People's Exhibits 407A through 407E and 408A and 408B.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection is overruled.
Can we now show the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 407A? Ms. Longstreet, is this a post that you retrieved?
Yes.
And what was the date and timestamp shown on the post?
I believe it was October 8th at 12:19 a.m.
Can we please put that back up for the jury, without playing it?
October 8th, 2016 at 12:19 a.m.
What is the written content of the post?
Here is my statement.
All right. Can we now display to the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 407B? Is this another post that you retrieved?
Yes.
What Twitter handle was this posted from?
At Real Donald Trump.
And what is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
I believe it was October 8th at 12:19 p.m.
Can you please put that back up for the jury, without playing it?
October 8th at 12:19 p.m.
What is the written content of the post?
Here is my statement.
We now show the jury what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 407B. Is this another post that you retrieved?
Yes.
What Twitter handle was this posted from?
At Real Donald Trump.
And what is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
I believe it was October 11th at 12:52 p.m.
Can you read the content of the post to the jury?
Yes. The very foul-mouthed Senator John McCain begged for my support during his primary. I gave. He won. Then dropped me over locker room remarks.
We now show the jury what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 407C. Is this another Twitter post you received?
Yes.
What Twitter handle did it come in?
At Real Donald Trump.
What is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
The 15th of October, 2016 at 2:29 p.m.
Can you read the content of the post to the jury?
Nothing ever happened with any of these women totally made up nonsense to steal the election. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
And can now show the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 407D, another Twitter post that you retrieved?
Yep.
What handle is this post from?
At Real Donald Trump.
What is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
The 16th of October, 2016 at 7:36 a.m.
Can you read the content of the post to the jury?
Polls close, but can you believe I lost large number of women voters based on made-up events that never happened? Media rigging election.
And can we show the jury what's in evidence as People's Exhibit 407E? Is this another Twitter post you retrieved?
Yes.
What is the handle it came from?
At Real Donald Trump.
What is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
The 17th of October, 2016 at 8:15 a.m.
Can you read the content of the post to the jury?
Can't believe these phony stories 100% made up by women. Many already proven false and pushed big time by press. Have impact.
Thank you. And can we please show the jury what is in evidence as People's Exhibit 408A? Now, is this another social media post?
Yes.
Can you tell what social media platform this is from?
Yes, this is from Truth Social.
And what handle was used for this post?
At Real Donald Trump.
What is the date and timestamp shown on the post?
March 15th, 2023 at 11:32 p.m.
Can you please read the content of the post to the jury?
I did nothing wrong in the horseface case. I see she showed up in New York today trying to drum up some publicity for herself. I haven't seen or spoken to her. I haven't seen or spoken to her since I took a picture with her on a golf course in full golf gear, including a hat, close to 18 years ago. She knows nothing about me, other than her conman lawyer Avenatti and convicted lawyer and felon jailbird Michael Cohen may have schemed up. Never had an affair with her. Just another false acquisition by a sleazebag. Witch hunt.
And finally, can we show People's Exhibit 408B already in evidence to the jury? Is this another Truth Social post that you retrieved?
Yes.
What handle is used?
At Real Donald Trump.
And what is the date and timestamp on this?
August 4th, 2023 at 4:16 p.m.
Can you please read the content of the post to the jury?
If you go after me, I am coming after you.
No further questions.
Your witness.
Good morning, Ms. Longstreet.
Good morning.
Just a few questions. So, you testified that one of your assignments was to review, I think you said, 25 to 30 separate social media handles or accounts. Is that right?
That's about how many I have reviewed in the course of this case.
And you reviewed those because you were instructed to do so by one of the prosecutors?
Yes.
Is one of the handles you reviewed the handle for Michael Cohen?
Yes.
And did you review Michael Cohen's X account?
I did.
Have you reviewed Michael Cohen's TikTok?
Not really, no.
How about, well, let me ask you this. What other social media handles or sites did you review with respect to Michael Cohen?
Twitter. I don't know if you can call the podcast social media, but that might be it.
The podcast, you are talking about the podcast that Michael Cohen hosts.
Yes.
Are there two of them?
I am only talking about one.
Are you talking about one called Mea Culpa?
Yes.
And have you listened to all of the Mea Culpa podcasts?
Absolutely not.
Fair. How did you determine which Mea Culpa podcast to listen to?
I think some were more relevant than others, and some we were instructed to listen to.
And as far as Mr. Cohen's Twitter, did you focus on particular tweets or comments or just follow his handle regularly?
Both.
And was it part of your responsibility to report to the prosecutors what you observed?
Yes.
And did you?
I did.
I believe you also testified that overall there were, well, how many thousands or tens of thousands of different tweets or Instagram or podcasts do you think you reviewed in connection with this case that you have talked about this morning?
I couldn't give you an exact number. I would say anywhere between 5 and 10,000 posts.
Was there a time frame that you were assigned to look at?
Well, the time frame of the activity at the center of this case, but also over the last year, since I have been added to the case.
So around 2015 to 2017, is that fair?
Yep.
And then during the course of this investigation, so since the beginning of 2023, is that right?
Yep.
Was it earlier than that, or is that when you started?
I think I started in December of 2022, so just around that time.
So, and of all the thousands that you reviewed, today we looked at 7 a few minutes ago, correct?
Yep.
And did you decide which 7 to show today, or was it the prosecutors who decided?
I am just a paralegal. I apologize.
So it was the prosecutors?
Yes.
And with respect to the 7 exhibits we just looked at that you read into the record, you have never worked at Twitter or X, correct?
Correct.
And you never worked for Truth Social, right?
Correct.
And so when you were testifying about, for example, the handle, the date and time of the X or the tweet and the Truth Social posts, that was just from what you were observing on the screen and what you describe as your experience on social media, correct?
I don't really understand.
Well, you don't have an independent knowledge from working at Twitter or working at Truth Social of how they go about stamping a tweet or putting a timestamp or a date stamp on a particular tweet before it goes out? You don't have any expertise about that, do you?
No.
The same thing with Truth Social?
That's correct.
So you, like many of us, you just relied on your experience having spent a lot of time reviewing social media in this case.
Yes. With regard to Truth Social posts, those were made while I was actively reviewing that account every single day.
So during 2023, the 2 that we showed you were actively reviewing, so you see when a post is posted and see it when it happens, correct?
Yes.
But again, continuing that, you don't have any independent knowledge, for example, of who actually wrote the Truth Social or the X or the tweet, do you?
That's true. I just know what account it was posted from.
And similarly, you don't have any independent knowledge of why a particular post was made, correct?
No.
So, for example, the last one that we just saw that said something like, if you come after me, I am coming after you, you don't have any idea or knowledge about why that Truth Social handle put that up, do you?
I have my assumptions, but no.
How long have you worked at the district attorney's office?
About to be 2 years.
Have there been any other, is this your primary case?
For the time being.
Has this been your only case this year?
No.
Have there been other cases where you had to look at 25 to 30 different social media accounts, as you have had in this case?
Not as many accounts, but other investigations that required social media to be looked at, yes.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You may step down.